I'm Jess Parness, and welcome back to this week's Penn State Sports Recap on GoPSUSports.com. Congratulations to Dan Valamont, head coach Cale Sanderson, and the entire Penn State wrestling program on their successful trip to the NCAA 2010 Championships held this past weekend in Omaha, Nebraska. Senior Dan Valamont was the national runner-up at 165, and the Nittany Lion wrestlers took 9th place overall at the event. Valamont ends his career as a two-time All-American with the 3rd place finish at 157 and his national runner-up finish this year. The New Jersey native leaves Happy Valley with a 108-35 career record. Also earning All-American status was sophomore Frank Molinaro, who finished in 5th place at 149, ending his season with the 33-7 record, and Kyler Sanderson kept his outstanding collegiate career as a two-time All-American after a 6th place finish at 157 this year. He went 32-7 in his senior season for Penn State and ends his collegiate career with a 114-33 record. Cale Sanderson's first 3 All-Americans as Penn State head coach has now brought the Nittany Lions' overall total to 166. The 9th place finish is an 8-spot improvement from last year's 17th. Sanderson has now guided all 4 of his teams to a top 10 finish, 3 years at Iowa State and now his first at Penn State. Spring is definitely in the air as the Penn State baseball team returned to Happy Valley from their most recent road trip in South Carolina, where Coach Ryan and the team competed in the Coca-Cola Classic. The Nittany Lions finished the weekend 2-2, including a thrilling 6-5 comeback win over Columbia, featuring a walk-off single by sophomore Joey DeBernardis, his 2nd walk-off hit of the season. Freshman Stephen Hill pitched the final 1.2 innings, recording his 2nd win of the season. The Lions' other victory came in the fashion of a 7-3 win over Kent State that featured both strong pitching and balanced hitting. Senior Mike Wanamaker tossed 6 innings, allowing 5 hits, 3 runs with 5 strikeouts in recording his first win of the season. Sophomore Jordan Steranka led the way offensively with 3 hits, his 5th multi-hit game of this young season. Ben Heath continued his strong play and in 3 games collected 5 hits, walked 4 times, scored 6 runs, knocked in 10 RBIs, and went deep twice, with one of those being a grand slam. Next up for the Lions is an away game Wednesday afternoon at 3 p.m. versus Pittsburgh. Baseball's home opener at Lubrano Park is set for Friday, March 26 versus Hofstra. Season and individual game tickets for Penn State baseball are now available and can be purchased online or over the phone. Call the numbers you see on the screen or visit the ticket page on GoPSUSports.com. One of the nation's premier spring football events, Penn State's Blue and White Weekend presented by AAA, keeps getting bigger and better, with this year being no different. Just announced last week and new to this year's festivities will be the addition of a high school band parade through East Campus to Beaver Stadium the morning of Blue and White game. As in previous years, both admission to the game and parking are free. Kickoff is set for 2 p.m. on April 24th in Beaver Stadium. Visit GoPSUSports.com for complete schedule details covering the entire weekend's events, which begin Friday evening and run through Sunday. The number 44 Penn State men's tennis team closed out the Blue-Gray Classic this past Saturday, securing a 4-1 win over Middle Tennessee State. Their strong performance in singles proved to be the difference, winning their first 4 singles matches in securing the victory. Up next for head coach Todd Dobler and the team are trips to Ohio State, Minnesota, and Iowa before returning home to take on Michigan on April 9th. In men's volleyball news, EIVA conference officials announced Monday that Penn State senior middle hitter Max Lipsitz has been named EIVA Player of the Week. Lipsitz guided the Lions to a 3-0 sweep of St. Francis on Friday, totaling 9 kills and 11 swings for a .797 attack percentage. Max also put up 5 blocks. On Sunday, against the number 14 Ohio State, Lipsitz posted 15 kills and had 4 blocks, including 2 solo while adding 3 digs. The Nittany Lions are at Juniata on March 23rd at 7 p.m. and play its final regular season home game when the Nittany Lions take on Princeton at 7 p.m. on March 26th in Rec Hall. Congratulations also goes out to freshman Shareya Musser, who was named Big Ten Freshman of the Week, conference officials announced on Monday. Musser was one of Penn State's top performers on Saturday, March 20th versus Nebraska. She led the Lions with 2 individual event titles and a 2nd-place finish in the all-around. Musser earned top honors for the 3rd time this season on vault and her 5th on bars. She also scored a personal best 9.850 on floor to take 3rd, finishing in the top 5 for the first time in 2010. The Nittany Lions traveled to Columbus, Ohio for the 2010 Big Ten Championships on March 27th, hosted by Ohio State. Action is set to begin at 2 p.m. and will be broadcasted live on the Big Ten Network. In soccer news, the Penn State's women's team knocked off ACC foe Virginia Tech 3-1 as the Lions improved to 2-0 in their spring schedule. Junior Danielle Toney led the Lions with the game-winning goal as well as recording an assist on the first goal of the day. The Nittany Lions returned to action on Thursday, April 1st when they traveled to Downingtown, Pennsylvania for a matchup against the women's professional soccer club, the Philadelphia Independents. And finally, this week's Student Athletes of the Week were announced on Monday, with senior wrestler Dan Volleyball recognized on the men's side for his national runner-up finish at the NCAA Wrestling Championships. And on the women's side, the nod goes to freshman women's swimmer Amy Moglen. Amy earned honorable mention All-America status in the 200 backstroke at the NCAA Championships this past weekend. Congratulations to both Dan and Amy for being named GoPSUSports.com's Penn State Student Athletes of the Week, presented by Highmark. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Jess Parness.